a good idea to veto proposals? I mean, the governor's talking about vetoing everything that comes to his desk until this is done. Is that, you guys going to go along with that?
You know, I haven't had a chance to talk to the governor about what his intentions are as far as the veto. I look forward. I understand that there's been some reports of that. I haven't talked to the governor, so I guess until I have an opportunity to sit down and talk to him and understand what he's said here, then you know, I don't know for sure what he's planning.
Senator, I think we need to be clear in understanding that we're legislators. We are a separate branch of government. Our responsibility here is to deal with legislative issues. We will continue the normal, ongoing legislative process, and that's what our responsibility is, and we're committed to doing that.
So do you support the governor's intent to not to sign any other bill until this gets done?
The governor is a separate branch of government. They will have to deal with those issues as they come up. I suspect that as bills come forward, we'll have to look at those on a case-by-case basis.
But do you support what he's stated? Do you think it's the right approach to take?
I think what our responsibility here is deal what we can deal with, which is the legislative process.
Ken, assuming he follows through with that pledge, are you confident that you can hold enough members of your caucus to prevent a veto override if enough Republicans join the Democrats? It only takes 8.
We're talking about a hypothetical situation here, guys. I mean, you know, the governor apparently has made some sort of comment. I haven't had an opportunity to speak with you directly, nor has Ken. And, you know, whether that ever actually comes to fruition or not, we don't know. I think right now the important thing is to make sure that we don't lose sight of the fact that the governor is extremely frustrated with the Democrats' delay tactics.
Senator, is it fair to characterize the Democrats as fanning the flames? The governor is the one this morning that came out with the sort of ultimatum, if you will. So, I mean, it just feels like they're just reacting to what he said this morning.
Right, and I appreciate the fact that they're reacting, and they certainly were quick to get the press release out. You know, they continue to, every time somebody says something, they want to take their words out of context. We continue to see that in politics in the state of Maine. Until I have an opportunity to speak with the governor directly, I don't know that I can make any comment.
This does seem to be a coordinated plan by Republicans. House Republicans for a couple of weeks have been calling on Democrats to move the bill forward. The Republican Party has been doing the same thing, and the governor. So obviously it seems like you folks have all gotten together and say, how can we bring the most pressure to bear on this issue?
Well, let's be very clear. We're talking about an economy that's been suffering for 4 years. We're talking about immediately putting into the economy $500 million, plus the governor's then committed to releasing over another $100 million into the economy. If this is not a critically important issue, yes, our party has coordinated on this. We believe it's a critically important issue to put people back to work throughout the state. These hospitals are located all over the state. It's the right thing to do. Democrats ought to get on board with that.
Ken, how come you and Senator Thibodeau aren't in the governor's office right now, sitting with members of Democratic leadership, hashing this problem over?
I guess we weren't invited.
Well, you know, I will tell you this, and this is a factual situation. We have had this ongoing call to have this bill heard. On Wednesday, we became aware that we were told by Democratic leadership that this bill was set for a hearing. We found out through the committee process, the online committee process, that only Part A of the governor's bill had actually been set for a hearing, which is the liquor contract part. Through some conversations that happened after that, we had it confirmed through Democratic leadership that that is accurate, that a hearing was set on this, but not on the payment of the hospitals. Shortly after that, all of a sudden, it changed, and all of a sudden we then had a hearing set for not only the liquor contract portion, but payment of the hospitals. That's plain politics.
But in the end, it was resolved to your satisfaction.
It was, and we thank the Democrats for doing that, but it then goes to the issue again of being upfront and dealing with this in an important way that Maine people expect that we should do.
Now, can we just back up for a second here? So the governor says two things on the radio this morning, or says it twice, the same thing, about vetoing any legislation until the liquor or the hospitals are paid. Then we have a press conference by the Dems. Now we have a press conference from you. Shouldn't you guys all be talking about this instead of doing this right here? I mean, it's great. I'm glad you guys are available. But, I mean, is this what the people of Maine, is this what they want to see?
to be real honest with you, we didn't call a press conference. We just said because the Democrats were having a press conference, we'd make ourselves available to answer any questions that may arise from their press conference. And, you guys said, yeah, we'd be down shortly after the press conference. This isn't something we orchestrated. We didn't reach out to you guys and ask you, please, can we have a press conference? We want to get a message out. This is a response to what was going on from the other side of the aisle.
Gentlemen,
Steve, quite frankly, in response to your question, if the Democrats are ready to come to the table and talk about this with Republican leadership, with the governor's office and themselves, I welcome that meeting. I'll do it anytime, any place.
Have you tried prior to now to make that happen?
We have had the ongoing conversations, including requesting that the hearing process go forward. We've had to struggle to do that. We've had to have clarifications of that process on Wednesday. That has not been an honest approach by them to have an opportunity to have those conversations.
Do you want a full public hearing process on this? Because that, again, that takes time.
There can be ongoing conversations while that process is happening.
Is there any part of Senator Goodall's plan, whether it be the liquor contract or the notion of putting the money in the general fund, or any part of his plan that you guys are on board with, that you'd be willing to consider as well?
Well, I appreciate Senator Goodall trying to hijack the process. The fact of the matter is, the governor had brought forward the bill. He's the guy that had the idea. He brought forward the bill, and then it seems like they've continually tried to stall the process in an effort to get Senator Goodall's bill up to the committee so that they can, use that as the vehicle to advance the issue. Look, they're playing politics with a very important issue. One other thing that I want to make abundantly clear is, you were asking if we've reached out. Quite frankly, I've spent most of my morning reading press releases that have been put out by the Democrat Party and leadership from the Democrats, and haven't had not one opportunity for them to come by and say, hey, can we sit down and talk about this? Where are you guys at? They haven't reached out to us or in any way.
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. We would welcome such a meeting. If the Democrats are out there listening, we would invite you to a meeting to sit down and talk about this liquor contract and put people back to work. Anytime, anywhere.
Gentlemen, is there any bills coming to the governor's desk that have already moved through the process that you're worried about getting vetoed? Because he did say this morning that he's even plans to veto his own bills on his desk. So, is there anything specific that you're concerned about?
I'd have to look at the list that's
I do believe that Representative Poverty bill has actually gone through its second reading. Probably will be voted on Tuesday. That's his emergency bill in regards to the Irish, the changing of times of the Irish folks to drink earlier in the day on Sunday. That probably is a bill that will come through, I think, at least the House on Tuesday.
I think more important than that is the fact that we've drawn a lot of attention today to the fact that the hospitals haven't been paid and that there are delay tactics going on inside this building. I think that folks in the state of Maine will be fully aware of that come tomorrow morning, and I think they would be very anxious to make sure that the state of Maine isn't delinquent on its payments any further. There's no other industry that would want to be unpaid since 2009. It's time for Maine to pay its bills.
But what is the evidence? What's the real evidence of delay taxing? Because other bills have not yet been referred to committee.
Right. Well, the fact of the matter is, Don, that bill stayed on the Senate calendar for over a week. And then when it got us to the committee, the chair of the committee promised to expedite the process and do a public hearing very soon. And instead, we delayed for a couple of weeks waiting for Senator Goodall's bill. So they've taken a go slow approach here. There's no question. The public's well aware. We want to push a bill through this process. We can do it in a short period of time. We've witnessed that recently, and it's time for us to move this along, and hope that the Democrats will join us in having this debate.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Thank you.